People were seen rushing out of the Chinese consulate in San Francisco Monday afternoon after a driver plowed a car into the lobby of the building's visa office. Police said law enforcement shot the driver, who later died in hospital. San Francisco Police Department spokesperson Sergeant Catherine Winters described the incident hours later.
San Francisco police fatally shoot driver of car that crashed into Chinese consulate. And this is what you get when you time after time demonize the Chinese people and China as a whole, creating hate, racism, and xenophobia. This is your favorite half Chinese. This is an act of terrorism. But why does the media not call it that? Why don't they tell you the truth, dear Americans? Why? What would have been written if it was another ethnic minority? What would it have said when the person was a Palestinian that drove its car into the Israeli consulate? It would have said, San Francisco police fatally shoot Palestinian terrorist of a car that crashed into Israeli consulate. And you know that is the truth. So why not now? And why no words on this? You choose to be silent and therefore you are complicit, as you do not wish to be a part of the solution, knowingly that there are now terrorist attacks in the United States against the Chinese consulate and the people. Just think what these people do to the Chinese people themselves in the United States and Europe for that matter. Just imagine what we as individuals have to go through on a daily basis. Also think what might happen from our side if this goes on and on. Somebody is gonna snap someday, don't you think so? Now I also want to call for a stop with the whole Stop Asian Hate campaign, as it is not true. It is the hate against the Chinese you must stop. There's no effort to demonize Asians as a whole. Now, I'm not saying that Asians do not fall victim to hate crimes like this. They do. And I am not saying there are not people who do not hate Asians as a whole. There obviously are. But this problem of today is not because of Asian hate. It is because of the hate campaign started against the Chinese people specifically. And because of many people cannot discern the difference between many other Asians, the other Asians also fall victim because of the hate against Chinese people. Therefore, when you fight against Asian hate, you're fighting the wrong animal, and therefore a solution will not be found. Americans read China bashing every day. They don't read Asian bashing every day. Therefore, they think the Asians are just not telling the truth and will neglect the problem. Now, if we all will stand up and call it Stop Hate Against Chinese People, then the Americans and other Europeans cannot deny it anymore, because it hits them in the face every second if they open a newspaper or an internet website or whatever, even if they want to watch something else. Anyways, it's a sad story of what happens when you have immature people running a country, immature and irresponsible people. And that also counts for the media, who think it is okay to demonize and spread lies every single second of the day about a particular group, like they do about the Chinese today. Eventually, it is going to take lives, and this time it is a life of their own. I am going to ask the Americans, is this worth the hate? Your own people died by the hands of your own people because of this spreading of hate. Just think about it. Is this really what you want? The hate you create now made you unalive your own. I really hope that Americans do some soul searching. And mind you, the Chinese in the USA are the biggest earner. It means they pay more taxes than you. They help to build up your USA. They are hardworking people who have done you no wrong at all. So why do you feel the need to hate us? Many of the Chinese in the USA are born there, and just like you, with roots not from the USA. See how similar you actually are. There's literally no reason for Americans to be upset with the Chinese people. Be thankful instead. And here is why. The Chinese built your railroads. It was literally built with Chinese hands, who were fooled and tricked by your government back then and worked like slaves so you could enjoy your railroad. And do you know who funded the railroads? It was funded with the proceeds of the opium trade of your country in China, which devastated the Chinese and China, and eventually was a huge factor in destroying China. So why are you mad at us, bro? Your universities, such as Yale, the Low Memorial Library of Columbia University, and Princeton University, all were funded with the proceeds of the illegal opium trade of your government in China over the backs of Chinese people and China as a whole. So why are you mad at us, bro? It was the failure of your country and your system and your Americans that were responsible for the economic collapse in 2008. And it was China with the money and consent of the Chinese people that built your ass out. So why are you mad at us, bro? It was China that made the products for a cheap price for your corporates, so you could compete on the international market and have Walmart, for instance. So why are you mad at us, bro? It was China and the Chinese people who till this day treat you as a decent human being, despite the hate and atrocities you have inflicted on China and the Chinese people throughout history till this very day. So why are you mad at us, bro? Alright, I'm going to stop here. I hope you get the picture now. There's nothing to be mad at China for, or the Chinese people for that matter. We have not wronged you, and if anything is wrong in your country, it is because of your incompetence of the ones that you choose to lead for your system that is incompetent. Whatever it is, it has nothing to do with Chinese people and certainly not with China. If any of the two parties have a right to be angry or to hate one another, that would be China and the Chinese people for the harm you have been inflicting on us for over 100 years. Please let me know what you all think of this. Please like and share, and if you have not yet, then follow. This was your favorite Half Chinese, and as always, have a great day. And for the Americans, please fix your own country without troubling us. I see you in the next video.
Officers entered, made contact with the suspect, and an officer-involved shooting occurred. Officers rendered aid, and they had summoned paramedics from the San Francisco Fire Department. And in spite of the life-saving efforts of the police officers, firefighter, paramedics, and personnel at the hospital, the suspect was later pronounced deceased at the hospital.
Winters said the identity of the driver and the motive were not yet known, and there was no mention of any other injuries in the incident. She said police were working with U.S. State Department investigators and explained why few details could be given.
This is a unique investigation because it did happen inside the lobby of the Chinese consulate. So there's a number of agencies and jurisdictions that are involved. So this is far different than our normal officer-involved shooting, which really does unfortunately impact the amount of information that we can give to you at this time.
The Chinese diplomatic post in San Francisco called it an attack, saying in a statement it, quote, strongly condemns this violent attack and reserves the right to pursue responsibility for the incident. The State Department did not immediately respond to a Reuters request for comment on the incident.